All right, and we're going.
Welcome to episode 9 of the Niven podcast.
So we're at, we brought Studio Cat with us, but we're at Coney Island.
And Studio Cat is not liking it.
Coney Island of New York City. So if you hear like screaming roller coasters, just ignore them. They're supposed to be there.
Yeah, this is a special on-location episode of the Niven podcast.
What's the special occasion? Why are we here?
Because we decided, what's a better idea for a podcast than go to Brooklyn?
It's in Brooklyn? I thought it was just New York.
You're here. We're in Southwest Brooklyn.
I don't read the signs. I just follow them.
You took the subway here. How do you not read the signs?
I don't like I prefer Quiznos. We both know this.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Alright, so anyways, we're here at Coney Island because we just figured we'd support New York. It's the 20th anniversary of 9/11.
21st anniversary.
21st anniversary of 9/11. But I take one down. Gotta knock them down a peg.
Leap years.
That would add an extra year. It'd be 22, dude.
I don't know, man.
They don't add the... Whatever. So here at Coney Island, wanted to pay respect to those proud pilots that flew those planes straight into the towers. Had
Jesus
to just make sure those pilots didn't fall into their knives. They did. And it was unfortunate. Those brave souls stepped up and crashed those planes.
They fell into their knives. They
the box
fell on it. Yeah, I fell over box cutter first.
Well, that's pretty easy when you're in the air. Turbulence happens. You stumble around. If you're juggling box cutters or something, accidents happen.
You know what I always wondered? When they had I don't know how many, 20 hijackers or whatever. Do you think at a certain point any of them was looking for a parachute, being too many cooks. We don't
We only need one pilot.
I mean, we kind of got the pilots killed. This thing's going down. Do you guys really need all of us to die?
What I want to know is that dude, if he jumped, what was his other thing besides dying? Was he nervous that he wasn't going to get virgins or something? He's I don't know, 8 of us, 72. What's that? 200 virgins? Where are they getting these guys?
He's like that dude at the end of the 300 movie, where it's they told me to tell their story. I didn't just abandon them.
I got a vision from Allah right before it happened. He said jump, and I did.
They were like, we got this under control. You go tell our story.
Story of our brave souls.
In that movie, if that was real, it's that one dude with the eye patch. He's like, go on, tell our story. It's no, he just ran.
Yeah, he definitely just ran.
He was just fuck this shit. They're all going to die.
Do you think... if someone was to jump with a parachute, do you think he'd actually go with that story? Or do you think he'd just be like, no, I live in New York now?
It's you could probably make it. You're only 110 stories up. Or you're a New York citizen now.
Don't even say you jumped out. Just say, I know, miraculously, I was saved. God himself.
It's oh my God, how can I ever survive as an undocumented immigrant in New York City?
New York City. Dang, I'm never getting... Can't live.
I must be the only one running the scam.
So I was actually thinking... No, I wasn't. Why? No.
So did you do anything fun while you're in New York? We went to the Freedom Tower yesterday.
I mean, you kept calling it the Freedom Tower. I called it Twin Tower 2.0. There's one of them, which is weird. I said calling it Twin Tower, but it's like a triplet tower. Yeah.
I mean, I didn't really feel much when I was there, though. That was a weird thing. It's I thought it was going to be this huge thing, and then I realized there's a chance I don't give a fuck about 9/11.
I tried to feel things. I was walking around, touching everything. Same deal. I wasn't at any point man, I want to rally behind America. I want to get out there. And no, felt nothing, really.
I remember watching the footage, and the plane hits the first tower, and I was okay, that might be an accident. Then the plane hits the second tower, and they're like, this is definitely not an accident. And I'm I bet there's two sides to the story.
I mean, what did those towers do to those pilots?
I mean,
I've never crashed a plane into anything. But if I was, I'd pick someone who insulted me.
Sometimes you walk up and you see somebody, and they're just screaming at their kid, just wailing on them or something in public, and yeah, you're thinking this is a bad person. But I bet there's two sides to it. Maybe that kid did something really, really annoying. Maybe those towers are those passengers.
Maybe the kid had a box cutter, and the parent almost tripped and fell into the box cutter.
They're everybody set your plane to airplane mode, and then there's that one dude who's sitting there fucking playing Angry Birds or whatever. Because I don't even know smartphones are a thing yet. He's sitting there.
He had an advanced copy.
Yeah, he's sitting there playing Hearts on his phone. on this pixelated phone, and they're like, "This guy just doesn't follow the rules," and they just snapped. They just snapped and said, "Fuck it, we have box cutters."
So, a weird thing. So around 9/11, there was a big push from America. Hey, we got to get over there. We got to secure Afghanistan. That eventually evolved to Iraq. I actually went over there for a short tour. I wasn't there very long. It was
to New York, Afghanistan, or Iraq?
Afghanistan.
Oh, okay.
No. I went there. I was conscripted or whatever, and I joined the military for a very brief period. I got kicked out though. It was the first day we basically got off the truck. They show you base camp, and we're going to do our first mission. Our mission was literally just walk from Camp A to Camp B. We were just transporting supplies. Simple supply run. And they're like, hey, but be wary. Don't stray off the road. There might be mines. Like, they know we use the supply road. We've secured the road. Don't go off the road. There's going to be mines. And, trotting along. And there's actually, like, this point we get to where the road was damaged. We could not proceed with the trucks.
Yeah.
So we're going to veer off. We're going to take a side route.
So we should only go on spaces that have 3 or less.
3? What do you mean?
Never mind.
Oh, Minesweeper. Okay. So, yeah, so, we take off. We go around the road.
Safe
the second we get off, we set off. Set off a mine. I lose my legs. Thing is, I found them later.
Jesus Christ.
But it was like way after they'd sent me home. Turns out they were in my pocket the whole time.
You have pocket legs?
And I didn't lose any legs. So, yeah, it was a very short tour. First mission. Huge mishap, too. I could have done a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you found your legs.
Yeah, it was a brief period in time. I was having a rough day.
I'm glad you found your
I was still pretty handy capable.
Still. I love it. You found your legs. Yeah, I mean, the whole thing with... I never really understood any of the whole Afghanistan thing, Iraq thing. Afghanistan, to me, sounds like a weird charity where you wrap people named Stan in, like, crocheted blankets.
Afghanistan.
Yeah, we're going to Afghanistan.
We're going to Afghanistan. We're going to turn Stan into an Afghan. It's going to be wild.
We're going to wrap this kid in just tons and tons of blankets. And
I've just always wondered, like, the two countries... You've got Iraq and Iran.
Yeah.
And one of them came first. Whereas the other one, like, I like what they're doing. Iran? What if we change it to a Q? Like, one had to come first. It's stupid country naming. It's like North Korea, South Korea. Which one came first?
I'm guessing Iran came first, and then they were like, we need to set ourselves apart. Kind of like how African Americans put Q's in their name.
Oh, like Kwan?
Yeah, like...
I don't know if Kwan's a name.
Yeah, where it's just like there's a silent Q or something. Like Iraq. They're like, well, it's Iran. And they're like, well, mine's Iraq.
There was, speaking of weird names, there was this person I went to school with. And they were definitely, of ghetto origin.
Jesus Christ.
And, no, I'm not saying they were black. They were white.
Oh.
But... Their name was unique.
They're like Fago White.
They're like Fago White, yeah. Their name was unique. I'm not saying it was different. Their name was unique. But it was spelled Y-U-N-I-Q. And if you see it on paper, you're like, that's a weird way to spell eunuch. No, it was unique.
Unique.
But every substitute cheat, they'd come in and be like, we've got a eunuch cut off my balls. It was a really weird last name, too.
Cut off my balls.
And there's like, no, it's unique cut off my balls. So, yeah. Speaking of weird names.
So, 9/11.
Yeah.
Equals 20.
Yeah.
And then the towers, I always hear people say it was an inside job.
Does that mean they were in the planes.
They're in the planes. Is that what that means?
Yeah.
Okay.
They weren't outside at the time.
Yeah, because it seems like, of course they weren't, because who's flying the plane?
Yeah. If you were outside the plane, it'd be very hard to move around. You couldn't kill any... You may kill yourself. Maybe one other dude if you dragged him out there, but...
Wouldn't it be weird, though, if like nothing ever happened to those pilots and they were just, like, drunk? And just...
just a huge coincidence?
Yeah. And then they're like, well, we can use this to our advantage.
What if it's not even an advantage? What if they were like actually juggling box cutters? The pilots actually tripped, and they were like, "Oh, we can do this." What was his name? The Sully.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we'll just be the next. Oh no!
Oh no!
And then the next guy's like, "Does he need help?" And then accidentally hits the second tower.
It's like a David Copperfield trick.
Yeah.
Oh crap!
Oh no! This went horribly wrong.
But no, I don't think it was. I don't buy into those conspiracy theories. I don't think it was an inside job because I don't know if you've ever tried to convince people to do something till they die. It's a hard sell.
It's hard to convince anybody to do anything, let alone until they die.
It's like, what? We're gonna get you to fly this plane. It's like that. That does not sound like something that was concocted in America.
I'm just saying, like, think about it this way. Getting someone to do something till they die is impossible. 'Cause Hugh Hefner, what was his one job? Hey, sleep with all these beautiful women and just hang out around him. He died young.
He was 42 years old.
42 and he died. And it was suicide. He's like, this is the best life ever. I'm out.
I'm out. Yeah,
till I die? Right now.
The only thing we'll do in America till we die is eat fast food, and that's just because we're slow and lazy. We're too lazy to be healthy. So we're lazy till we die. That's all.
Lazy till we die.
That's all we do.
Did you hear the new health craze? I forget what it's called, but it's like an advanced version of mineral water. And how it works is you get a bottle of water and there's a cap on top, and it's like those, those yogurt shake 'em ups where they have like oats or M&Ms.
Yeah.
It's like that, but it looks like dirt.
Oh.
And you just tip it upside down. You put this dirt in your water. And you drink it through a filter, and it leaves the dirt. It's so weird.
I was reading a weird news story. This is a true story, too, by the way. I was reading a weird news story yesterday about how they believe in, 10 or 15 years, colonoscopies will be obsolete.
Colonoscopies? Why do they say that?
Because they're, talking about it, and they're like, hey, so the people that get colonoscopies, it's to screen you for cancer. But the cancer that you get, or that it checks for, is so deadly. It doesn't actually save anybody from dying. It's like the success rate of, when you get colon cancer, you die. It's So, you can find out that you're going to die a little bit sooner. So we're going to go through this really uncomfortable procedure just to find out you're going to die a little bit sooner. Because they have blood tests that'll check for that kind of stuff, too.
Why would people want to know that anyway? Surprises are cool.
So, no,
if I wake up dead, I'm like,
community. They're like... So are we just shoving cameras up people's asses for fun then? Because this isn't a great time. This isn't something we really want to do.
I bet you there's people out there who have colon cancer and also really like getting cameras up their butt. There's that's a very small niche.
But it's funny because it took years for doctors to go, you know what? What's the point of doing this?
Well, think about the first heart transplant.
Yeah.
People tried that for thousands of years.
Yeah.
There's we keep doing it. We're not getting any closer. They die every single time.
Yeah, for years they probably didn't know which one was the heart. They're throwing an appendix in there.
Did you hear the thing that it's pretty common for them to leave gloves and stuff in bodies? That's weird.
Yeah.
What if you the next doctor finds the glove? What does he do with it? Does he keep it? Does he let you know?
Well, I mean,
does he put it on?
There's when you go into surgery, there is one nurse's or one assistant's job who is the person that counts everything. They bring in a certain number of supplies, sponges, all that stuff, and they literally at the end tally that they have them all. When they dispose of them, they count them. And I remember thinking that everybody has a bad day at work sometimes. It's what if that person is just not on their game that day, and they're like, yeah, I think I kind of that. You know how many things I lose track of?
Do you
daily?
think they ever put pranks in there?
No.
Glitter bombs?
Oh god.
What if it's they have they cut you open the C-section, you leave a glitter bomb in there because they're like, we're gonna have more kids. Oh, you sneak that in there for the next guy.
I like a little letter in a box.
So then they go to cut the next baby open. There's confetti and a baby.
I can honestly say I don't believe that has ever happened.
It should happen.
No, it should.
It would enhance the birth for everybody, including the baby.
What?
Yeah. You think the baby, they're going to be 3 years old in preschool or something. They're going to be like, hey, babies, I'm the coolest baby here. And they're like, why are you the coolest baby here, baby? I'm a confetti baby.
Same baby a lot.
Yeah, baby. What do you call? I'm not gonna come up with fake baby names.
But I was thinking, I've been thinking a lot about, like patriotism and 9/11 since we've been here, and I feel like I just feel like I should care, but I don't. Like, I remember pledging allegiance to the flag a lot when I was younger, and my allegiance isn't worth much because I've not once in my adult life been like, gotta save the flag, gotta save the flag. But it just doesn't happen. I don't think about the flag too often.
I think it's just a weird thing because as kids,
it got 4 years of allegiance.
As kids, you hear the pledge,
yeah,
and you see like these people going to war, and you get certain things in your head as a kid, like this is important to me, this is important in life, like quicksand. Quicksand, everyone was scared of it as a kid. When have you encountered quicksand? Never.
Yeah,
You've never dealt with quicksand. It's
not near as big of a problem as you think it's going to be.
No, or like when you're standing in line at lunch and there's a dude that cuts you. How often do you get cut in a line? Like, I've been to the bank. People are pretty civil at the bank.
That's why they keep the pens on those chains so you don't stab people who cut you.
That's the reason? I thought it was stealing pens.
Oh. Maybe it is. Maybe I always thought it's like, okay, well, I want to stab the person behind me when I get up there.
If that was the reason, why don't they do that with knives?
I don't know.
Because there's a lot of stabbings with knives. If they put every knife on a chain, it'd be a lot harder to stab people. Because it'd be like, you go to your kitchen and you'd have a knife zone. It'd be like on the ground, like, hey, the knife only reaches that far. So if you're having a fight, and you're like, oh, Duncan's over there with a knife. He might stab me. I'll stay out of the knife zone.
Yeah.
Easy.
You know what I was thinking the other day? Like, you know how they have those, like, exchange programs where you, like, bring in a gun?
Yeah.
And, like, I was thinking about it. It's like, they should do that, but give you drugs. Because think about all the people who are criminals and stuff that, like, a lot of those people that have guns, a lot of them are on drugs.
It's actually a good idea.
And there are, I don't care how many drugs you've done or, like, what drugs you're on, there is always a point where you're out of drugs and you would trade your gun for some drugs and go, I'll just get another gun later. It's like, think about it. It's like 3 a.m. Police station's open.
Yeah.
Go down there and be like,
my dealer's asleep, but the police station's open.
Yeah, here's a gun. Give me some cocaine.
Did you know
they're not going to be violent anymore? There's no guns anymore.
I saw a thing. It was a gun collection thing where they trade them in, and it was, you bring us a firearm, we'll give you like $200. It was a simple deal. And some dude had 3D printed a bunch of guns. We're talking like thousands and thousands of guns. And they just barely met the requirement to be considered a gun.
Yeah.
And he just brings them in, and the cops were like, these aren't real guns. And he made them like go to a range and fire one. They do fire ammunition. They fire one bullet, and then they're broken. He's like, they're guns. And he ended up walking away with like thousands of dollars from these fake guns.
So you got to find a loophole in the system. It's a life hack. 3D print guns. Life hack.
Just 3D print your own guns, guys. You heard it here.
But yeah, it's it is really weird though being here, like, because it's like all these people. Like, I saw a woman who's younger than me the other day, or yesterday. We were at the Freedom. She was crying, and I was like, "Oh, did you lose a relative?" She goes, "No, it's just so moving to be here."
Beware.
At the Freedom Tower thing.
Oh.
Yeah, and I was just like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
The weirdest thing I saw at the Freedom Tower is there was a lady who was just standing there, and I saw her walk into a corner. She looked around, and then she just she pulled down her pants and just crapped. And it wasn't like a disrespect thing. She's not like, oh, this is the Freedom Tower, I'm going to crap on it. No, she's just a weirdo.
That's freedom right there.
That's freedom.
It's a salute to freedom.
Yeah.
That's what the Freedom Tower is all about. It's about taking a shit in the middle of Manhattan.
Taking a shit where you want.
Yeah, you shit where you want. It's the Freedom Tower.
Is there ever a point where, say like you're a criminal and the cops are coming to arrest you, and you're in the toilet and they can hear you crapping, they hear you struggling, are they going to wait it out?
No, I think they'll pull you up off the toilet, depending on what you did.
What if you're being tackled by the police and you just shit your pants?
I mean, they say when you're being kidnapped, you should shit yourself. Because nobody wants to fuck around with somebody who's been...
But what if they shoot you then?
I don't know. They probably would. Well,
most people kidnap people with weapons, right?
I don't recommend it if you're black. Because it's just like, oh, that's all the reason we need.
That's just more brown.
Yeah. They're
you're giving us more
they're not
brown
down
to
with the
shoot?
brown.
So, I was thinking, you just want to, like, stand next to a vat of toxic waste for an hour after this?
Yes, I do. That sounds like a lot of
I
fun.
think we could easily find some toxic waste in New York City. I think this is the place to get it.
Oh, this whole place is toxic waste. I mean, So, has anybody asked you if you're a tourist yet when you're here?
I'm pretty white, so I know.
Yeah, I was getting off the subway
Usually,
yesterday.
for me, I can identify tourists. They're going to be like an Asian person, and they've got a camera.
Yeah.
That's a dead giveaway.
I'm getting off the subway, and this guy, I don't know what his fucking thing was, but he's like, "Hey, are you a tourist?" And of course, I've always been told, say no. If you're not from an area, say no. And I went, no. And then his reaction, apparently the mistake I made was by responding. Because if you're a true New Yorker, apparently you're just going to say, fuck you, or not respond at all. And he goes, nah, you're a tourist. Have you had the pizza yet? I'm thinking, there's 3,000 pizza places in the city. What? Why do they say the pizza?
Pizza.
Yeah. So, I was like, how do you offend a New York? I don't like pizza. That's what I told him.
Do you know what makes a New York pizza New York pizza?
What's that?
You don't know.
It's in New York?
No, it's the water. There's something in the water system. Do you know, because New York gets its water like crazy. It comes from upstate down these huge pipes, and it's supposed to collect certain minerals and crap in the water.
But not all the pizza's the same. Like if I go to Domino's, it's gonna be the same Domino's. That
but
you get in
they use the New York water for the dough.
Yeah,
that's supposed to be the thing. So there was a company in Nevada, and they would ship in New York water for their New York pizza.
Can you imagine? I've seen the fucking bottled water from some weird country. What is that?
Like Fiji water.
Yeah, Fiji water. Thank you. Can you imagine New York City water?
That would be great.
NYC H2O. Is that a train that just went by?
No.
What was it?
It was just a dude with a kazoo.
Oh god.
Oh god.
Oh god.
What do you act like it's gonna get you?
Yeah. Well, I mean, people around here are nuts. But yeah, it's just that guy was so... He's like, fuck it. No, you're a tourist. Have you had the pizza? Is it just one giant pizza in New York?
It's just one guy who makes all the pizza.
Well, so I was thinking, I gotta go try some of this New York pizza. So I go to the first pizzeria I see, and it tasted like shit. And then I told, I walk out, and this hobo looks at me and goes, yeah, you shouldn't eat there. And I was like, they told me to try the pizza. No, not that pizza place. I was like, oh, God. And he's like, you want to try this place? And this go, I'm like, Jesus Christ.
You want to try the pizza over there? Did he, tell you where to go? Or is he just no, not that pizza, this pizza? And you're just like, what do you mean by this pizza? He's like, yeah, it's over there.
I tried to cut it short because my wife just, really startled. She was with me. And I was just like, she's like, well, you shouldn't talk to the hobos or the homeless people. They just want a handout. And I was thinking to myself, it's this dude is living out of a fucking cart. He's, looking for cans to return for 5 cents. Yeah, that's a greedy motherfucker.
He told me where not to go.
That's a greedy-ass motherfucker. Just looking for free.
The last time, though, I talked to a homeless person, he did try and ask me for things, and I fucking punched him in the face, stepped on him. I ain't dealing with it. If you're homeless and you look homeless...
They're probably not real people, though, right?
No. Nothing happened to me. I punched him, I stepped on him, I kept going.
They're dented cans.
People cheered. People cheered for me.
There's websites here where people pay for access to this.
It's awesome. That's my favorite part about New York City. They love the homeless because they're free entertainment. You can throw stuff at them, you can kick them, you can scream at them. They're on drugs, they don't feel it. It's awesome.
It's the modern day stockades.
It is the coolest thing about New York. Other than the piss tubes. Yeah. The subway piss tubes. Awesome.
Yeah, everybody's like, we need to get more mental health care for these homeless people. And then Tyler's like, I got a different idea.
Just see how far it gets.
What if we went in the other direction? There's degraded them even more.
There's a George Carlin bit he has on how he wants to monetize drug people, and he's just like, we kick them out of, say, Wyoming, we fence off the whole state, and then every so often we just drop some drugs in there, drop some guns in there, live TV. Let's see how cool it gets. And I've been all for it.
And there's still a thing where they can sell some of the guns for some of the drugs.
Oh, yeah, you can trade your... That's the perfect place to put it.
But I was thinking, that'd be a great policy, though. But, so... Just killing time now, aren't we?
We have a lot of time to kill. We prepared nothing for this. We're just straight
well,
riffing.
I thought that...
But I figured, since we're riffing, Driz, drop me a beat. We're in New York, not a lot of pork. Bunch of Jews. Don't put them in the pews, because that's the church. Church is chicken. You know what I'm frickin' saying.
Bagel, bagel,
yo.
bagel.
That's it. That's all I got. I ain't a rapper. But that's... I'm in New York. Rap was born in New York. Might as well throw down a sick beat.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. I was actually talking... Do you know what the Music City is?
What's that?
What's a music city in the U.S.? If you Google Music City, what do you get?
Nashville.
You do. You actually get Nashville. Holy shit.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I thought it'd be like Memphis. I was thinking Memphis.
I know they got barbecue in Memphis.
I just thought Memphis was, what started there? Wasn't that like big rhythm and blues with Memphis?
Yeah, and also in
New Orleans. Yeah.
Beale Street, New Orleans.
I would have chosen one of those over Nashville. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, well, it's like Nashville. You have like all the country western people.
Yeah, but that's one genre of music.
Yeah.
Rhythm and blues. That's rhythm and blues.
Rhythm and blues.
That's two.
Rap.
That sounds more
rhythm
musical.
and poetry.
And that's what rap stands for. Awesome.
I always thought it was for the beat, like rap, tap, tap, tap.
Do you know what rock stands for?
What's that?
Rockin' on Cool Cock. Cock with a K. It's pretty hip. It started out as music for gays, and then it evolved, kind of like punk. Punk was the same way. I got a lot of music facts. I can spit them all day. I mean, you heard my rap. I obviously know what I'm talking about.
But yeah, it's like I do kind of want to. I don't know why, but while we're here, I do want to check out Bed-Stuy.
Bed-Stuy? What do you mean?
It's the like really ghetto ass area, like where like Biggie's from in New York.
What's supposed to be? Is there like a big shrine to
Biggie? Like Bedford Student Event or whatever.
Oh.
No, I just hear it's really really ghetto.
I just hear it's really dangerous.
Because I just want to go and gawk at people who are living in the.
You know, there's like a whole thing about that. I forget. Like where I think it's on Chicago, the South Side, and there's like a type of music called drill rap. Have you heard about this?
No.
The whole thing is they rap about like who they shot, who they're going to shoot, who got shot. It's gang violence into music, and it's like a certain block in South Chicago where it started, and it did get started because they were killing each other.
Yeah,
and it's very strange because you'll hear them be like, "Oh, I shot Small Thunder on the block down under. I can't rap." And then the police would be like, "Huh, Big Thunder was killed. I wonder who did it. Was it Young Slice of Ham over there who rapped about killing Big Thunder?" And it turns out, yes, it was.
Is that little pirate over there who went and plundered?
Yeah, and then. So the music, it got really popular because people were like, it's real music, it's real violent, it's real. And people like real. And then people caught on and they wanted to make more money. So they started lying about the raps. They'd be like, "Oh, I killed Fast Lightning." And Fast Lightning's be like, "No, you didn't. I'm over here." But the cops would still be like, "Oh, he killed Fast Lightning." Not even looking into if Fast Lightning was dead. So they'd go arrest that dude. Yeah. So then it turns out that now there's a law where you can't use music lyrics in a courtroom because there's so many people lying about it. It's so weird. Strange.
You know what's really weird, though? We were talking about like watching poor people, like exploitation type stuff. And I never really thought about it, but I play fantasy football a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm like going through these lists of people. Like you're betting with coworkers and other people. It's like, hey... And you got all these lists of people who are all getting concussions and like doing horrible damage to their bodies. And
it sounds cool.
Yeah. And they're like, oh, can't play that guy. He broke his tibia. Can't play that guy. He's got a horrible life-altering concussion. That guy might never play again. Oops, slip. It feels kind of, like exploitation a little bit. Like, kind of like when you're watching, like, the Gladiators.
You could solve that, though, because we're putting people out there we care about in football.
Yeah.
Like Brett Favre. People cared about that, man. If he got injured, the Packers were like, oh, our guy, he's down.
Yeah.
If you put a homeless guy out there...
Yeah, because the world cares about Brett Favre right now.
Is he in some shit?
Yeah, he's in some shit. But...
Oh, he's the only
I'm sure there's two sides of the story, though.
Anyways, you put a homeless guy out there...
Yeah.
And they're just going to be like, is he on drugs? Put him on drugs.
The weird thing is, though, I never thought about it as being, like, exploitation or, like, how, like, grotesque it is. Like, watching these people, like, hurt themselves horribly for my entertainment. Until recently. And now I can't stop jacking off to it. Like, that's the only thing that gets me off now is watching football. Because I like I'm like, especially when there's, like, a really bad...
Is it the violence or the spandex?
It's the fact that they're doing it for my entertainment and money.
Oh, yeah, dirty little football player.
Yeah, it's like, here's all these people. It's like, the poorer the background they come from, the better. It's like, I'm doing this to make a life for my kids. I'm going to be famous. I'm going to get money. I'm going to get out of this bad situation that this fucking society put me in. I'm going to take this money.
And then he gets concussion right as you...
concussion. It's like, I'm not going to get as much money. I'm like, yeah, no, you're not. Life caught up with you, bitch.
You dirty little football player. Yeah, you grab that ball.
Stay in your lane. It gets weird, but yeah, I never started jerking off to football until I started thinking about how...
you could use that as your advantage in fantasy.
How much exploitation's in it. Yeah.
Be like, that guy got me off more than that guy got me off. He's probably getting injured more.
Yeah.
I'm not putting him out. Trade him away. And your fantasy points go up.
It's really funny to, like...
Yeah, you base your fantasy points on who gets you off better.
And then it was really funny to, like, watch... like the sports coverage of it, because one of the guys lately, he got hit really hard, and Miami Dolphins quarterback, and he's like wobbling, and then he went back in the game, and all these sports writers are like, oh my god, I can't believe they let him go back out there, this is terrible. And then the next thing they're like, look at this hit. It's somebody else. They're like, slow-mo, he really took that guy out.
I think how it is fair. If not, it should be more violent.
And it's like,
because you think about, you play one football game. One football game. That's like, you're set for life. That's what, 200K? You're set for a while. Not life. Yeah. You're set for a while.
Yeah.
So what if you get hit once?
Yeah.
There's coal miners. They're getting paid like pennies on the dollar. And they got to deal with explosions. There's no explosions on a football field. There should be.
I've been trying to push my kid into wanting to be a coal miner when he gets older.
Why?
Because I think it'd be really funny.
It'd be really funny if you got, like, cancer, like lung cancer.
Not just a little bit of cancer. Like, not a lot of cancer.
Not a lot of cancer. I was thinking...
A horrible drinking problem from the debt that not making very much money and the toll it takes on your body. Like, stuff like that. That's what I want for my kids.
I was talking with a coworker. We were trying to write some Hallmark cards for kids, but we want to make them more personalized. So we were, writing names in, and we... you go to a souvenir stand, there's all the names on there. And we were trying to think of some strange names. Because we want to make sure we cover everybody. It's 2022, don't leave anyone out. And we were running through a list of last names. And we got to Milk. And we're like, Milk is a really unfortunate last name. Because you'd have to name your kids like, hey, 2%, get over here. Hey, Skim, get over here. And then you'd have to have an interracial relationship, get Chocolate Milk in the mix. And then you get to your fourth kid, and you're just like, fucking, how do we make strawberries?
There was a kid in my school one time. We were in middle school, and middle schoolers are awful. And he got 2% on a test one time. We called him Milk for 3 years.
Called him Milk.
And he was a little black kid, too.
Aww.
He got 2% on a math test, and we're like, hey, Milk.
I'd be okay with that, because that's more, you're not calling him stupid, you're just calling him, hey, you're a milky guy. We had a kid in our school, and he definitely was autistic.
Yeah.
And that was cool. He was part of our friend group. That was fine. We were fine with him. But at some point, we all had cool nicknames, and we just called him Ryan. And he's like, I want a cool nickname. So one day he just walks up to us, and he listened to hip hop a lot. He was a big hip hopper. It was fine. But he walked up to us, he's like, hey, can you call me 10 cents? I was like, dude, what are you talking about? He's like, I graduated in 2010, and 50 Cent, this cool name, call me 10 Cent. And we're just like, that is so dumb, dude. But yeah, we'll call you 10 Cent.
I thought you were going to be like, can you call me Velvet Thunder?
Call me No. But he had a younger brother, and his younger brother hated that we called his older brother 10 Cent. He's like, dude, don't let him. No, you're going to put things in his head. He's going to think he's a rapper. He already raps at home. Don't do it. And so we started calling his younger brother 5 Cent. And then 10 Cent dropped off because that stopped being funny. But 5 Cent, every time we called him 5 Cent, he would get upset. So we called him 5 Cent forever.
Kids are cruel, man. Yeah, I mean, we were hanging out. I have a 10-year-old boy, and we were hanging out with my sister-in-law, and she's single, and she was complaining to her sister, my wife, about how she couldn't find anybody to date, and about how the dating apps weren't working. And my 10-year-old son looks at me and goes, you think it's bad for you when every time I meet somebody on a dating app, they end up in prison? I'm guessing he was joking.
I mean, I've met a lot of kids, and they have a lot of personal lives outside of
somebody on the end up in prison. It's like, that is a really good joke. I love that. I want to hear a kid say it.
Are you not concerned as a parent?
No, I'm sure he was joking, but
You're sure he was joking?
I think so. But he's a witty kid. He's made that connection of, I'm underage. It's like every time I meet somebody on a dating app, they end up in prison.
Do you think there should be a dating app for kids so that doesn't happen?
No.
No? No. You don't think there's any adults out there who...
No, because if you have a dating app for kids, it's going to be 1% kids, 99% adults.
Yeah, but they're eventually just going to catfish each other, and it's just going to be an adult dating app. Like, there's no kids on there. It's called Kids Date.
Kids Date.
And it's all just adults.
Kids Date. Kidlovers.com.
Kidlovers.com.
It's all adults that want to have children someday.
Yeah, kidlovers.com. we could get that URL, I bet. This is an idea. It's like,
I bet we can't.
It's like Christian, what do you call it? ChristianConnect.com?
Christian Connect.
It's like that, but kid lovers.
Kidlovers.com.
It's like, hey, you're not religious, you still want to have a lot of kids. This is the place to go.
Oh, man. Religious people freak me out, though.
All religious people or just certain religions?
Well, they all kind of do.
I think there's certain religions that get a pass. Like, Confucianism?
Yeah.
Nobody knows what that is. Let it slide. It's got confusion almost in the name. Like, leave it alone. Or like, I don't know, Taoism. What does that mean?
I have no idea.
Exactly. Those people are fine. It's the ones stirring shit up, like the Mormons.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like, why do you get 2 wives? That's unfair. I want 2 wives. And you get to hit them, too? That's unfair. I never get to hit my wife.
It is kind of funny, though, like, the things that come along with, like, the Catholic Church thing and all that, because I was raised Catholic. And my parents are really religious, and I was an altar boy, and there's like... You tell people that nowadays. And it's like, yeah, I was an altar boy. They're like, oh, I'm so sorry.
Because they just assume something bad happened?
I'm like, yeah, it was really boring. I stood there with a candle for 4 hours. Thank you for your condolences.
I was actually, speaking of it, I was raised Jewish. My parents were Catholic. But they figured, hey, we want our kid to be successful. He's going to have a life in Hollywood. He might be funnier. And I was raised Jewish. I had a yarmulke. They were progressive parents, so it was a rainbow yarmulke. I was the only Jewish guy with a rainbow yarmulke. People thought it was gay. It was not gay. It was just they supported the gay. It was strange growing up Jewish. All my siblings got Christmas presents. I got a dreidel every year.
Dreidel.
They didn't know how Hanukkah worked. I was supposed to get 8 gifts. I got one. One
gift.
They were like, 1 gift per day, Hanukkah. All right, here's your Hanukkah gift.
We don't know how Hanukkah works.
It was very weird. I do not advise growing up Jewish in a non-Jewish household.
Especially, if you don't understand how Judaism works.
They did. they caught on because the oil burned for 8 days, and they did just start fires a lot. 8 fires sometimes. Some fires ran for 8 hours. It's they never got it down.
See, I always wonder how I grew up in a really strict household. My parents were not really the joking type. They're just, my dad's really nice, my mom's really serious, and it was but my wife and I, we're both the joking type.
Yeah.
And that's why I think my son is so sarcastic all the time. And he loves going around telling people, I know exactly how you're going to die. Just weird shit like that. People are you're fucking weird. And it makes me wonder how he's going to treat his kids, because he's just so sarcastic. And he's I wonder if he's going to look back and be oh, my parents didn't love each other at all. I was telling my wife about the idea for going to Coney Island to do the podcast, and she's oh, that sounds boring. And I was oh, okay, tell me what you really think. And she's I don't want to say you're dull, but you could, if you murdered me, you still wouldn't be a person of interest.
Dang.
I was and then my son looks at me and feels the need to explain. He goes, they always suspect the spouse.
You're a 10-year-old boy. They're going to suspect you.
They always suspect the spouse, and they still wouldn't find you interesting. Jesus,
that's kind of rough.
You kill me and still not be a person of interest, and they always suspect the spouse. Damn.
So, on this episode, we tried to make fun of every group of people. There is one group we left out, and we made fun of. We got Confucianism, we got Taoism, we got Christians, we got Jews, got the gays. We didn't get the Muslims. So, for the image of this podcast, we're going to put Muhammad, and for the next 5 minutes, we're just going to spend it laughing at Muhammad. So, go!